Henry Ford was an industrial revolutionary, and the American public pushed him to near stardom. His innovations in the auto industry changed life from the 1920s all the way into present day. He was an intelligent man, but had a few odd quirks such as his obsession with carrots and his refusal to eat fresh bread. At one point, he even dressed up as a carrot and made a short speech about carrots at a dinner party. Aside from being a bit strange, however, Henry was good at what he did, and he was a machinist at heart. Born July 30th, 1863 on a prosperous family farm in what is now Dearborn, Michigan, Henry grew up watching people work very hard using animals and manual labor to do their work, but he preferred to tinker with machines rather than partake in farm work. Sadly, Henry's mother passed away when he was only 12 years old, but her passing left him with a powerful drive to live his life the way he believed she'd want him to. At the age of 16, he left for Detroit and became an apprentice for 3 years. He returned to the farm a full-fledged machinist and helped with farm work only when he wasn't repairing steam engines or attempting to improve them. It was during this time that he met his wife and settled on a piece of land given to him by his father. Eventually, he landed a job at the Edison Illumination Company, and after a promotion, saved enough money to create his first self-propelled vehicle with a combustion engine that he dubbed the quadricycle. From this, he moved on to bigger goals, and after 2 failed attempts, formed his own company, sending him on his path to success. Thanks to Henry's innovations and productivity, the middle class was finally able to afford automobiles. Once a luxury for the rich, the automobile was finally an obtainable object, and demand for them skyrocketed. People felt luxurious and free in their automobiles. Your average factory worker, with the help of Ford's immense raises in salary, could purchase his very own Model T and feel like a Rockefeller as he zoomed down the road at a blazing 40 to 45 miles per hour. Thanks to extreme consumerism and new forms of advertising, everyone wanted one, and if you got one, you would be the envy of your neighbor. Eventually, they became a representation of the American dream, and their engines helped to make the 20s roar. The automobile was a life-changing advancement in transportation and affected everything from culture to economy. From 1908 to 1927, the overall most popular automobile was Henry Ford's Model T. Built to be easily used and repaired, the Model T had universal parts meant to be transferable between different vehicles. Early models were fit with a hand crank and connected to a flywheel to start the engine, but after 1920 they were built with electric starters connected to batteries. Despite the hand crank on most models being slightly irritating, it was a much better alternative to hooking up horses to a carriage. There were a few drawbacks with the Model T. It was durable, easily fixed, and reliable for the most part. The minor problems were an incessant rattle, a homely appearance, and a less than comfortable ride at high speeds. These deficiencies were often affectionately joked about in music, poems, and stories. Another interesting flaw was that due to gravity-fed gasoline and the reverse gear being the most powerful, the Model T often had to be driven backwards up hills. It was in 1908 that Ford designed and sold his first Model T. The first man to buy one was a doctor, and he paid $850. In the years after this, the price steadily dropped. By 1918, the price of the Model T had gone down to a mere $290. When 1925 rolled around, a brand new Model T was being produced every 10 seconds. Super duper, come let's mix where Rockefellers walk with
with sticks or umbrellas in their mix.
It was a good thing Henry had chosen Detroit for the Ford Motor Company's headquarters. Being one of the nation's industrial capitals, Detroit was the perfect place. Nestled right in the Great Lakes region, Detroit was easily accessible by both water and land. As well as being easily accessible, it was also extremely close to the United States' primary coal, iron, and copper mines, making it perfect for industry even on a geological level. Eventually, as demand for automobiles went through the roof, Ford opened up another factory and began pumping out as many cars as possible. Thanks to Henry, among over 100 other automobile companies, Detroit became a global symbol of industry and of the power of American capitalism and the labor that built it. Also, Henry Ford hired many different types of people for their skill sets. Ford recruited workers from places like Scotland, England, the Midwest, and immigrants from Mexico, as well as African American migrants from the South. By 1940, Detroit had become one of the nation's highest employers of African Americans and had grown into one of the most racially and ethnically diverse cities in the country. The 1920s were a perfect storm for the automobile industry's uprising. New labor laws had people working less hours, making more money, and the economy was booming after a smooth transition from wartime into peacetime. Everyone needed new forms of entertainment to use all of their newfound, especially the returning veterans of World War I. They had seen the horrors of the world and were only looking to have fun as they knew they could die at any second. Be it new sports, movies, or concerts, everyone had somewhere to go and needed a way to get there. What they ended up discovering, though, is the automobile itself could be its very own form of entertainment. They were fast, dangerous, and free of the constraints of rails. However, the economy didn't become this amazing for no reason. Factors leading up to the widespread prosperity and economic growth were government growth policies, a boom in construction, and the rapid growth in consumer goods. Some examples of the new products that became popular at the time were new foods, transported more easily due to enhanced forms of transportation, and new household items such as the vacuum, the dishwasher, the toaster, and the curling iron. Some brands that came about in the 1920s are still famous today, such as Kool-Aid, Wheaties, Nabisco, and Quaker. Nevertheless, none of these products affected such a broad range of things as did the automobile. The automobile changed the food industry, the entertainment industry, the steel, rubber, and glass industry, as well as bringing business to even the most rural regions of the United States. Automobile-oriented businesses sprouted up everywhere, from drive-in restaurants, to drive-in theaters, to gas stations, to motor hotels, more commonly referred to as motels. In other words, we would never have made it to the point we're at today if it had not been for the innovations of not only Henry Ford, but all of the automobile manufacturers from the 1920s into present day.